Hello everyone. Today I'm welcoming Vivian Chang, the founder and CEO of Crush Collection, a fashion apparel brand based in China but selling all over the world. I mean, I saw that you had a location in Sweden and several locations actually in Greater China. You're going to tell us more about it. I'm very happy to welcome you, Vivian, because I think a lot of people are asking themselves questions on how to start their own brand. And I think they can learn a lot from you. They don't know how to start. They don't know how to talk to factories. They don't know how to talk with distributors, how to find the right distribution. And you have been successful in doing all that. So I think that can be very, very interesting to know more about it. And that was not your first experience. You had a past experience in other companies, as far as I read online. So it would be interesting as well to understand how you switched from working, I think it was outside of China, and then starting your own brand. But first of all, as I begin with most people, I try to understand the size of your business, and if you can give us some metrics, revenues, number of people working with you, number of clients, some idea of the size of the business.
Hi, Matthew.
Thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure to be here. First time doing this interview, a little bit nervous, but I can tell you the size of my business. Last season, we have 2 seasons a year. Last season, we have about 18 million RMB in retail value.
Okay. So when you say 18 million is the revenues you get from distributors, or is it the total revenues?
In retail price.
Okay. Retail price. Okay, I understand. So will you say one season, you have 2 seasons per year, right?
Yes.
So that means it's roughly 2 times that, right? For 1 year.
The other season is much smaller, maybe just a quarter, because I focused more on cashmere. So winter is my big season.
Wow, it's very nice numbers. How is the size of your team now?
We have 8 people, including me.
Okay. And those 18 million RMB, you do them through offline, right? Through offline retail. I saw you have at Lane Crawford and very good locations.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is through offline. We don't have an online presence for the moment.
Okay. So let's go back to the start. How did you start?
I started in 2009. And how did I start? A big passion for garment and clothing. I don't want to just have a clothing brand because there are so many out there already. So I was thinking, it was 10 years ago during summer, and I saw a lot of, at that time, there was a t-shirt became really popular. Everyone has a white t-shirt that costs like $100. So t-shirt became not a sloppy t-shirt. T-shirt became like, a cool item to have since like 10 years ago. So I was thinking, why not wear t-shirt in winter as well? So then I started to research what can be wear in winter, like just directly to your skin, that you don't have to wear anything else, like because a lot of sweaters are quite itchy.
Yeah, you came from an observation basically. I read that it was in Frankfurt. It was in Germany.
Yes.
You had the idea.
Yes, I was just like sitting by the street side in a coffee shop and drinking coffee and see. I was just trying to figure out what kind of clothing will be essential for people. So I can create something that makes sense. I can create something that people want to have, not just another clothing brand. Yeah,
you see a pain actually from the consumer point of view, right? And you try to solve it. So how did you come to cashmere? Because how did you connect the need of this garment to the material of cashmere?
When I started to research, also ever since I moved to China 20 years ago, I found out that China has quite a lot of cashmere raw material. China is the biggest cashmere produced country. So cashmere, it's easier to have access in China. And then I realized cashmere is actually the best material to wear directly to skin. It's very soft. It keeps you warm, especially when you use the super fine cashmere. They are as thin as t-shirt. You can just really wear it in the winter like a t-shirt.
Are you currently wearing your own?
I am. but I'm not
Okay.
wearing my t-shirt style.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so you came up with the idea because you observed people in the street and you were thinking that they use t-shirt and expensive t-shirt during the summer, but they have nothing during the winter to feel comfortable, to be light, and to wear during the winter, right? And then you came up with the idea of, by being in China, to use cashmere. And you are only using cashmere, right?
In the first 5 years, yes, only cashmere. Also, a lot of company making cashmere garments, clothing out there. So what I have been trying to do is I have to make cashmere different than the traditional cashmere.
How did you do that?
Like I say, making it into t-shirt. No one makes it into t-shirt.
Okay. I see the format. Okay. Format is different.
People will make it into like thicker sweaters, like a twin set.
I see.
Or just like an ordinary pull over a sweater, a crew neck, a V-neck sweater. So I make cashmere into dress. So even make cashmere into evening wear. So you can go to gala dinner at night time, in wintertime and not feeling cold.
Why don't you think people didn't do it before? No other brands did it before.
There are brands doing it, but it's maybe more for more luxury brands. So one sweater can cost $2,000.
Okay.
Minimum.
Okay. Yeah. What's your pricing?
Nowadays, I focus to myself only in China.
Mm-hmm.
So my retail price is from around 2,000 RMB to 10,000 RMB.
So you are the same price level as the luxury brands, right?
No, I'm still half priced.
Half price. Okay, that's on the way. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's something I'd like to come back later on. Is how do you build a brand with a price tag which is actually closer and closer to luxury brands? But we'll go back on this later on. I think it would be very interesting to know about it. So you had your idea about using cashmere, and you came back to China because at that point you were in the West. And at that time, then you had to look for a factory. Could you explain us about how you looked for a factory? I read online that you went to Zhejiang, Harbin, Jiangsu, and finally you found out a good factory in Shanghai to work with. Could you explain us about all the difficulties and how you solved them?
In the first 2 years, I don't have big quantity. Especially the first year, it was very difficult to get a good factory willing to work with me because I don't want to produce ordinary cashmere sweaters. So to be able to explain to them what I want to do is already it's a bizarre thing to do. They keep on telling me, no one does cashmere like that. You cannot do it. So it's a long story short. It's like I have to go to a factory almost every day. Try to make friends with the factory owners.
But when you were looking for factories in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Harbin, at this very first stage, I guess it was assessing the factory, right? So how do you assess if a factory is good or not? Getting access to factories kind of easy now. I'm not sure about it, but with Alibaba and everything published on the internet, it seems that the access seems reasonably easy.
In the first few years, I cannot access the factories. I can only see whoever want to produce for me, then I work with them in the first 3 years. Because
of volume and the specificity of your product?
Yes.
Okay, I see. And you have various factories, or you were working only one by one with one factory and then moving another factory, or you have various factories for various products?
If we talk about now I have several factories to work with. Like I with my big orders, I work with very professional factories that they do everything by the book. So you don't have to worry. The quality is under control. But I also work with, because different factory has different machinery. So for some of the styles that I have to work with different factories.
I see. When you were saying you were going to meet with a factory nearly every day, I guess that was the one in Shanghai.
This one is the one I go every day. It's in Jiaxing. It's outside of Shanghai. It's like 1.5 hours drive by car.
What do you have to talk every day with them?
Just try to make friends. I have a lot to learn from them. I was lucky to be able to find a factory owner who is willing to, he likes to teach people. I show him that I'm willing to learn, and then I go there and chat with him every day and willing to learn. So he started to make some sample for me.
Interesting. I saw that you had to go there very often because there was some miscommunication and they may not tell everything at the same time, but you have to observe how they do to understand how they do and so on. That's not the reason. The reason is really about building relationships so you can have a better offer from them and a better way of working with them.
I think if you work with smaller factories, the communication has to be more frequent, that you have to check on them all the time to make sure that they are doing what you want them to do. But if you're working with bigger factories, their team is also more professional, then it will have less communication issue.
When you say they are more professional, you mean that they have a design office? They have an office which can help you as well understand the design you bring to them? What makes them more professional when they are bigger?
For example, the person who leads the team in their factory, they will have more knowledge towards to how to solve problems. And also, if you have a design and then you discuss with them how to make the design more easier to produce.
Okay. And what do you bring to them? You bring to them a design. You are a designer, right? You study design.
Yes, I study fashion design. For knitwear, we have to not only bring the design to them, we have to give them the instruction very clearly down to every centimeter.
So is it on paper, or you have to communicate with them on this? You can write everything on paper and then the big factories will produce what you say, but the small factories you have to explain much more.
You know, the small factories, the smallest one, they don't know how to handle email.
Okay, I see that.
So you have to print out the instruction and then send it to them.
I see. Actually, that's why it's good to be in China, because you have access to factories and people outside of China cannot get access to factories and they cannot communicate as well as you do. And moreover, you have a market in China. So you have both sides actually of the business, which is not the case in Europe anymore because the factories will not be able to work on small series and be that flexible.
It's much more flexible to operate from China, yes, especially in terms of manufacture. I don't work that much with the small factories anymore. Smaller factory does not mean the quality is bad. It only means I have to spend more time on supervising them.
Yeah, it's closer to craftsmanship than actually a factory, right?
Yeah.
So what's the minimum order you had to produce, to work with, to begin to work with bigger factories?
One style from 50 to 100 pieces, depending on different factory.
I see.
About the material and cashmere, I think a lot of people are asking questions about how to make sure the quality and the material is the right one or is a good one. How did you get this knowledge, and how do you do this check?
In the first, actually, I started to test cashmere in 2008 already. Before I started business, I have bought more than 20 types of cashmere from different companies. So what I do is I use the cashmere to knit a garment, and then I wear it several times. I wash it. I basically test it on myself. So I narrow it down to several suppliers that not only the cashmere is not only soft and feels good on the body, also after wash, the color doesn't fade. So I test myself on a lot of cashmere's quality. And then I narrow down to 3-4 suppliers that I work with. And, at the end, the state-owned government company have the best cashmere.
The state-owned enterprises from China have the best cashmere.
Yes, they have the best raw material to begin with.
How do you explain it?
They have their own farm. They have their own goats. They have the best fiber.
Okay. So you buy the material and you give the material to the factory, and the factory is using your material.
Yes, I strictly. For that source, I manage it strictly because I want my cashmere to have very good quality.
About funding, did you have to raise money? Did you have to raise even family money? Do you have to invest yourself money, or clients came very quickly?
I break even from second year onwards, but I had a very, very small team. I had just one staff and me.
Okay.
We had two people for 3 years.
But so the cost was mainly to produce, right? To buy the material and to produce the product, finance the inventory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So I didn't grow it very fast in the first few years. It was not my plan, but from day one I knew I only wanted to sell my collection in good stores. I don't want to sell it at. I have small stores approach me that they're selling unbranded garment in their store. I say no to all of them. I will say no to business to me even until today.
Interesting. That comes to the second actually aspect I'm very interested in understanding better from you is how do you enter those very high level shops such as Lane Crawford? I think a lot of people would dream about entering Lane Crawford, and you have been able to go to those places.
Yeah, it was my dream too for many years. I was very happy when I got in.
So it's is there a recipe? It takes time. Okay.
I think it takes time because for many years I keep on delivering good quality. I have a consistent quality. I think that's a reputation too. So before I started to sell in Lane Crawford, I was selling in some of the shops in Beijing and Shanghai. I was already selling very good. Normally in wintertime, I can be the top. My brand can be the top sale in the whole store.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was already selling good. So I think that's the reputation. And I met Lane Crawford's buyer through, they have a project called Call Out. Call out to the designers who's interested in working with them. So it's like a big competition. You bring your own work and you go to Lane Crawford to line up, and all the designer with their own work in their hand, and then you start presenting what you have to the buyers.
That's how you got the contact?
Yeah. That's how I get to know the buyer.
Okay. But you tried before to reach them directly, right? But it didn't work.
I tried. It was not a yes or no. It was just keep on trying. More than 2-3 years.
2-3 years.
All the stores, all the big stores, I would say. A lot of times I do seeding. I give a lot of gift to people in the industry that I think they're influential. I want them to try because I'm confident in my own sweater. So I want them to try to wear my clothing. If they like it, it's through word of mouth.
Is that the thing? Do you put salespeople on the point of sales, or who is selling? Like in
Lane Crawford, it's called multi-brand store. So it's like one store that have many brands, but it's different than department store. Department store, you have your own store in the department store. But in Lane Crawford, you don't have your own store. You only have your own rack, 1 to 2, 3 rack only. So stores like Lane Crawford, it's called multi-brand store. So they have their own sales.
But then how do you make sure that they understand your brand? They know how to talk about it.
I give them training every season.
Every season, so 2 times a year?
Yes.
And that's enough?
That's enough.
Okay. Because the salespeople of Lane Crawford are very good, right?
Also other stores too. I give them sales training.
But only 2 times?
Yes, only twice a year. Sometimes once. I've met one store manager. She's actually almost more knowledgeable than me in terms of clothing because she's been selling clothing for 15 years. She knows a lot about fabrics, material, how it looks on customer.
Okay. Yeah, your pictures look very good on the website. It looks very comfortable. What is the objective when you took picture to look comfortable to wear? More than actually the usual cashmere you can see, which are more official and so on?
I think my objective when I take the photo, I want to look modern, and I want to look um, modern and trendy. Not just I don't try to sell cashmere.
Okay. In an interview, you said that you wanted to imit the style of the 70s, right?
It's maybe one of the season. Yes, it's an inspiration from one of the season. Yes.
I see.
So you got those contacts basically by contacting them several times. I mean, the different malls, different department stores. You again built relationship. Sometimes you participated in competitions. And could you tell us more about the typical contract you have to when you do wholesale? So you sell to them, and the typical contract you have with those retailers.
Typical contract. I wholesale to them, and then.
Okay, but there is no minimum. There is no. It's you agree together on how much volume they buy, and then they resell. But there is no constraint. They don't push you to produce a certain amount and so on. Is there specific elements in the contract?
In this industry, there is a minimum. In Europe, actually, the minimum order is much lower for a small brand like me. It's probably just 2,000 euro. But in China, the minimum order, we set it higher.
And you have to produce first. Okay, you have to produce first. So basically, you have to manage your working capital in a way that you can finance further production and then you sell to them. So I guess you have to be very careful on the working capital to manage and.
Right.
No, customer pays me 30% deposit when they place
okay.
order.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have to find fund. I don't have a much funding issue.
Okay. How many locations now do you have?
I have 32 stores, but then this year I work with Club Monaco. They have 35 stores. So total almost 70.
So you work with Club Monaco under your own brand, right? They don't use,
yeah.
I mean, you don't produce for them, right? So Club Monaco is accepting other brands to be in their own shops?
Yes, they are doing that even in their headquarters in New York. They are selling jeans and sneakers from different brands.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, but they only want to work with brand that has a specific function. Like I have cashmere, other brand have jeans or shoes. That is not conflict with their own, what they have.
I see,
to increase the segment because they have clients who come to their shop, they want to optimize their shop, so they want to sell maybe more products. Okay, I see, I understand. How about the mistakes you think you could have avoided? Do you remember some mistakes you did that you could have avoided working with factories or working with retail?
That's a good question. Well, maybe after I learned from it, I fixed it and I forgot it.
What advice would you give to people who want to start a brand?
I feel like I've seen a lot of people start a new brand, and they, in the first 2 years, they got too tempted to go to Christmas market or to go to this weekend market. When you're a small brand, you tend to go to those markets to get some sales coming in, but then it's no good for brand reputation. There are a lot of things that takes time to build enough reputation.
But that's the thing which is very impressive, because with your price tag, you are able to sell without even putting salespeople on the point of sales, and you have a price tag which is not low, and a brand. And I Google a little bit, I Baidu a little bit. We cannot find a lot of information on your brand. So people with their phone on the shop, they cannot find a lot about you, and you sell well. You sell very well.
Yeah.
So that means that when you have a good product, if you go to the right retail of people who know about brands and apparel and garments, then you sell.
Yes, like in Landcrawford, people who go to Landcrawford to shopping, they know clothing very well. They spend a lot of money on clothing they know. So once they see it on the rack, and they know what's good and what's not, and they will buy it. You don't need to say that much.
But that's a bit counterintuitive, because we think a lot about branding as storytelling, as salespeople, as environment, experience. And when you listen to luxury brands, most of the time they don't even talk about the product. They talk about the experience, they talk about the branding, they talk about the storytelling, they talk about the history, right? 100 years history or whatever. And they don't talk about the product. That's the opposite. You talk only about the product. So in some way, it's counterintuitive.
I'm not a luxury brand yet. For me, I think it's important that I want people to like what they buy. I want them to really feel like, oh, this is really a good sweater. I like it. I want to wear it.
But about factories, for instance, do you think you could have gone quicker? For instance, going directly to the larger factories, or do you think it was part of the learning to go to small and then larger and so on?
I tried. I even go through people that I know who have connection with the factory. They're not willing to produce for very, very little quantity. In the first few years, I have too little quantity. So I have to start from the small factory.
Okay. I went to your website and so I can see some of the products, but I cannot buy from your website. Is it a specific strategy because you want to position yourself as a luxury brand? Is it a specific strategy because you actually wanted to build the brand through retail first and then maybe after e-commerce? Or is it just because you didn't have time, maybe, or just it's not done yet?
3 years ago, I did a e-commerce through Shopify. And then I realized having my own website won't sell much because I have to drive this traffic to my own website. It doesn't make sense to me, so I closed the Shopify shop.
Yeah, I would have thought that your clients, your current clients, could go to your website and buy new collections or new product or just similar products on your website. Even that actually didn't happen.
Very little, because I think I don't do retail myself. So all the customers are through the stores. So if you go to Land Crawford to buy my clothing, then you have a much better shopping experience than buying at home. I think everything has to be ready, like an e-commerce that is 100% ready. So the customer can feel as good on my website as in the stores. I have to deliver the same experience, but which I'm working on that way right now. I will launch my own e-commerce this year.
So this year, by the end of this year?
Hopefully before autumn.
To sell in China or in the world?
In the world. It will be about 2 languages, English and Chinese.
Okay. And in your process of setting up the e-commerce, how you thought about the delivery? When you deliver a high-quality product with a price point which is not low, which is not as high as luxury maybe, but which is not low, how will you deal with logistics?
I've contacted DHL. They have service to be able to deliver to door,
okay,
including import tax and stuff like that.
Okay, so you go through a very well-known and very big firm like DHL. Okay.
I think so, because the clothing, the garment I have is also, the price is also not so low.
I read somewhere, I can't remember where, that you are going to start home accessories and homeware.
Accessory and homeware?
Yeah.
I started loungewear this year, and accessory are just scarves and hat and glove. We have that anyway. Yes.
Okay, and still in cashmere, or not now? You have actually changed a little bit. It's not only cashmere, or it's only cashmere.
In spring and summer, we have silk.
For the for anything which is Kickstarter or crowdfunding, do you think it could make sense for someone who is starting a brand, as you did, to begin with a Kickstarter or crowdfunding? And have you thought about it? Because I don't think you did it, but have you thought about it and going through it? Is it something you investigated, or is it something that you think would not fit with your way of working?
I think when I started almost 10 years ago, was there a Kickstarter thing? Maybe not.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But in between, you have not thought about it? I mean, yeah.
No. When I wanted to start my own business, I kind of don't want to report to someone else anymore. I choose the business that I don't have to invest a lot of money. I can take care of this through my own saving.
Yeah, what's very interesting is that you say that retail, going through retail, through offline retail, was less expensive actually and easier for you than going online through e-commerce, which is very counterintuitive because most people think I'm going to open a Shopify, I'm going to create my brand, I'm going to sell online, it's going to cost less. But what you say is that it's better to find the right contact, the accurate retail, and to start from here.
It's not easier. It took me 6 years to get into the store. Yeah, all the store that I want to get into. It's not easy. It's not easier, but I think because first of all, cashmere is very soft. You have to feel it. You have to touch it to know why my cashmere is different than others. Why my cashmere is better than the 300 RMB cashmere out there. So I have to be show my clothing to customer, so they will see the differences, and so they will be convinced that what they pay is worth it.
That's the third aspect I wanted to understand more about your business. How much do you know about your clients? Because you go through retail, and you may not have their contact, you may not know them, you may not talk to them. How much do you know about them? How can you do your client understanding?
That's the person who is helping me to do a website now asked me, and then that made me decide to do my own website. The past 3 years, I feel like I started to not know who exactly are my customers. But before, when I do retail myself, I know who are my customers. They are high executives in the big company. They're lawyers, they're bankers. I have a lot of business women as my customers.
Okay, but you don't know if it's used more for gifting or for buying for themselves and so on. So that's why actually, because of this lack of understanding, you were thinking about going online because you could collect more data and get in touch with your own clients directly.
Not only that, I also want to present my ideal collection of t-shirt. It shouldn't be very expensive. So if I sell directly to my customer, I cut one layer off, and then I want to have one price-friendly cashmere t-shirt on my own website.
Oh, you would not sell the same thing, right? You would not sell the same collections, the same product. You have different products. I see. Is it something that the retailers are asking you not to sell directly what you sell to them, or is it? Or you are free?
Yeah.
Okay,
they didn't ask me that, but I feel like if people, I want people to shop online, but make it easier. So if there are 10 styles to choose from, other than 300 styles to choose from, I want to sell the essential items on my own website.
Okay. Thanks, Vivian. I know you have a meeting afterwards, so in 10 minutes. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I think it was very, very instructive. I think to learn more about how to deal with factories, how to enter retail, how to think not online and offline first, and learn from it. Thank you very much. How did you like the interview? You are less nervous now?
Yes, I'm not nervous anymore. Thank you for asking me a lot of questions, so I don't have to talk about it myself. It's easier to answer.
Yeah, that's the job I have to do. Thank you very much, Vivian.
You're welcome. Thank you too. Good experience for me.
Good evening. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.